a Republican to win the popular vote in 2024 is unthinkable. Unthinkable. You don't have to win the popular vote. You just need to win the Electoral College. Why is that important? I know you know this, but let me explain. In a place like California, where embracing illegal immigration and allowing anyone to vote, and you know illegals are voting, means that the rest of the world is getting to cast votes in your election. And they can run up the score. There's no limit on how many people can vote in California. So when you're trying to win the hearts and souls of the American people, the hearts and minds of the American people, you've also got to compete against foreign countries that are voting in California and New York. So for him to win the popular vote is wow. I mean, I cannot highlight enough how important that is. You know, they compared it to Nixon. Let's go back and talk about Nixon. Nixon was a young senator from California who Eisenhower tapped to be his vice president. In '56, much like Kamala Harris would have been in 2024 if Biden had run for re-election, Richard Nixon was believed to be a drain on the Eisenhower candidacy. They wanted him out. It had been alleged he had taken bribes, among other things. So Richard Nixon gives what can be known as a checkers speech. And he talks about how he and his wife Pat, they're simple people, just a simple coat, dog, checkers. And he's trying to humanize himself. The media hated Richard Nixon, much as they hate Donald Trump. Then in 1960, at the end of 8 years of having been the vice president, he runs for president, much as George H.W. Bush did at the end of the 8 years of the Reagan presidency, or I guess you could argue as Kamala Harris did last night, although she never won the primary to get there. So Nixon comes out of the 60 primary, and of course he faces JFK and loses. And the nation's media wanted JFK. They loved the Camelot story and everything that went with it. So Nixon goes home to California and runs for governor against Moonbeam Brown's, you know, Jerry Brown, crazy Governor Jerry Brown, his father. And Nixon, so if you ran for president and lost, your comeback, and Nixon, much like Trump, had a dogged ability to focus, to drive. And it was almost as if hating him made him push himself harder. So Nixon sets about, his comeback is going to be, he's going to be elected governor of California, and that's going to bring him back, and he loses. The media was so hard on him that at the end of the press conference to say, I've lost, I'm leaving politics, he famously says to the media at that presser after the event, he said, you won't have old Dick Nixon to kick around. And then he goes into Siberia. He kind of goes into exile, moves back to New York. He's practicing law there. The 64 race was an absolute debacle. Goldwater was just destroyed by LBJ, who of course had been JFK's vice president when he had him killed. He becomes the presidential candidate. And the Republican Party was in shambles. There wasn't good messaging. The highlight of the 64 election was a guy who was paid by General Electric, former president of the screenwriters, of the Actors Guild, who was paid by General Electric to travel the country on behalf of Barry Goldwater, giving what can be known as the speech. And he was really good at giving the speech. He'd give the speech every day. And he didn't try to vary the speech. He didn't try to add flourishes. He delivered the speech like an actor would deliver a speech, and it was very well received. And because he didn't have TV coverage of the campaign as he was going out talking to the Chambers of Commerce, nobody noticed that he was giving the same speech day after day after day, but it would later be remarked upon. That was Ronald Reagan. But Reagan's not ready for prime time just yet. Nixon is making his way back into the political world. And in '68 would win the nomination. Reagan won it. Reagan won it. Nixon would win the nomination and come back and, of course, be driven out. For them to say that Trump is bigger than a Nixon comeback, for those people who hate him, this is a truly glorious moment.
Well, that's a straight up red light, homie. You're in the middle of the road.
Dr. Ryan Green sharing a weight loss discovery. You've heard of those weight loss
In the
injections
middle
that
of the
produce
damn
shocking
intersection.
results, right? If your goal is to lose weight, a group of doctors created a remarkable weight loss supplement called Lean, and it's very encouraging. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to help maintain healthy
Them
glucose
Beaumont
levels,
drivers.
help burn fat by converting fat into energy, and reduce appetite so you eat less. Lean could be the weight loss answer you've been searching for. Visit TakeLean.com, promo code radio. That's TakeLean.com, promo code radio.
Violent crime is now committed every 24 seconds in our country, and police